friends. I'm Prairie Vintage. My name's Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirit and my intuition and the tarot to communicate energies to you guys. Second reading of the day today. I am being called to do a collective reading. So this is not a pick a card. There's a message needing to be communicated to somebody. It could be multiple people here, but certainly for one person needing to hear this. So here I am, ready to do this reading. I'm excited to see what this is. If you clicked on this video, then you're drawn to the title. That is why you came here. So I don't know what this is about, but I will call this video whatever is in line with the messaging. So let us take a look at what is Spirit wanting to communicate here for you. Because we did do an immediate message from Spirit earlier today for your next 7 days, but I guess there was something more needing to come out. So, or maybe you just found this video at random. So I'm going to pull cards. Hopefully I remember to put the timestamp for you to skip ahead, because this might take a little bit, okay? We'll ask Spirit for a clear and concise message for the collective in regards to whatever this is about, for the greatest and highest good of the viewer. What is this message about, Spirit? Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message. All right, so wow, quite a bit of these. And some of these. Spirit, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of the collective. And thank you so much, viewer, for allowing me to tap into your energy and the energy around you at this time. So we had the Fox P2 reveal itself. Oh, and I just flipped this one over. I'm not reading reversals. We have solar flares. I guess these all want to come forward. 528 hertz, quantum entanglement, stratopause and surface. One more. Stratosphere. All right. This card. Alrighty, we have leadership and we have intuition. And one more set of oracle cards here. Wow. Quite a bit. Okay, sorry, it does look a little jumbled. Spirit, what is this message about for the collective? Clear and concise message. Thank you so much. We have inside looking out, and we also have a fearful world. Well, those two kind of go hand in hand. 38 and 69. So I do want to see this Fox P2, and then I will flip those other cards around and see what that is about. Just give me a second. Okay, Fox P2. It says communication as the key. Fox P2 invites us to communicate with either ourselves or others in a conscious and harmonious way. By acknowledging the majestic power of words and language, words are portal keys to other dimensions of our being. Water particles change their shape and semblance according to the word or sound that they have been exposed to. Human beings are almost 80% water. Do the maths. If you do not have the power to transform what you say into a language with meaning, it will only be sounds. These sounds are vibrations. Vibrations heal, cure, and clean, but they also break, fracture, and separate. That is in line with the message. Two of the piles I did earlier today with communicating a truth here. And I want to see what energy vibration 528 is. I think that is quite a high vibrational frequency. Unite, integrate, and embrace. The love frequency. Okay. Yes. Okay, let's flip these and then we'll get on with your message. So we have tears with the rose. We have connect. We have expand. We have compassion. We have wound. We have breathe. And we have support. Oh, okay. Beautiful message coming through from Spirit. Very much in line with the reading I did earlier today. And maybe it's because whoever's clicking on here needing to see this might not see that other video. Because I do feel like this is a repeat sort of message from earlier today, but maybe reassurance here for someone who needed to hear it. So just give me a little bit to tap in a little further into this energy, and then I will intuit what I'm feeling and seeing here. Yes, so I feel you have been in a situation that is requiring you to stand up for yourself and communicate a truth, although I feel there's a lot of love here, okay? So I feel like there's a lot of love, and so when we have to communicate difficult truths that involve other people, it might be difficult and challenging, and how we deliver the message is sometimes we're second guessing, and sometimes we're not quite sure how to deliver a loving message in order to still remain true to ourselves without sort of selling ourselves, but at the same time, you know, not hurting someone else. And so this happens a lot, and I kind of mentioned it in the earlier reading here with empaths, because we feel other people's energy, and it's easy to put ourselves kind of on the back burner here, especially when we're dealing with family members or partners, close friends. So I feel that there is something here needing to be acknowledged, and it has caused you a lot of pain in this connection. I feel like there's been many tears, or just looking at a situation here that's caused you a lot of pain and sadness. And I feel as though you are feeling almost like you're not quite sure how to go about communicating a truth about this, but you know you need to take action. And so I feel like this situation is probably one that you've been going back and forth about. Should I say something, and should I take action? And if I take action, am I going to be supported by the universe? And what happens if, let's say, for example, I communicate something and then I'm left out in the cold and it becomes worse for me? So Spirit is sending sort of an affirmation message here that what you need to communicate is something you're having to do, to stick to it being coming from a loving place, okay? So to be mindful of, obviously, the words we use, and I feel there is love here, but sometimes when we're really hurt, we could say things we don't mean, or we could lash out in a way that might be taken on the other side, you know, from the other person as something that we're lashing out, but really we're communicating how we're feeling, and sometimes we're feeling very hurt, and we're talking from a wounded place. And so what Spirit is saying is allow yourself to sit with this, whatever this is, and I'm sure you've sat with it for a while, but whatever the messaging is that you're going to communicate, whatever action step you feel like taking, because I feel like you're really contemplating taking action or sending a message or communicating something to someone that you've been sitting on because you've been trying to keep the peace. So Spirit is confirming here, sit on this, okay? Allow yourself to kind of get out of your own mind, get into the comfort of knowing that Spirit has your back with this breathe here. Okay, and then when you feel like you've reviewed it from the other perspective here as something that isn't in a way that's blaming or speaking from a wounded place, okay? Because maybe we had to sit with something initially that was kind of like this solar flare, because initially we might explode about something, and the longer we kind of sit with it, we say, okay, maybe, this perspective was one that was coming through quite intense, and although it hurt me, I could maybe position this a little bit differently to get the same outcome. Okay, because I feel like you want to communicate something here because you are coming from a place of love. But when we're in a place of love, but we're wounded, we sometimes trip ourselves up. Okay, so we want to stick to facts here. We want to stick to how we're feeling, but communicate this in a way that isn't is still from a place of love. That's showing compassion. That's coming from a place of whatever has happened here has made me feel like this. Okay, so this is taking action, and this is knowing that you need to take action and then acting on it, not contemplating whether we're capable of doing this, not contemplating whether the universe will support us, or if for whatever reason this situation is going to get, I don't know, like our worst sort of possible nightmare here. I feel like maybe there's a lot of fear that the worst could come of a situation, and Spirit is saying, no, the best could come of a situation where we're communicating what we're feeling, and we're communicating from a place of love and not held back in any way, but from a place that isn't wounded or hurt and isn't lashing out. It's coming from a calm place where we've had time to sit and reflect. Okay, and I feel like the universe does support you here with this decision, but I feel like there's a need to make this decision, to act, to communicate. So I feel like there's a group of people here who might be considering remaining quiet for whatever reason. And then there's a group here that I'm reading for collectively that wants to take action right away, but they're still needing to take a breath here and sit on what has happened, so that when they do come forward, they're communicating from a very grounded sort of position. So I feel like the person here who isn't quite sure and maybe going back and forth is kind of feeling like they've sold themselves in some way, because they know that there's a truth that they have to speak that's in line with their intuition and stand up for themselves, or go after what they want by being honest. But they might fear the consequences here, or, like I said, worst case scenarios. Okay, and then I feel like the person who is wanting to respond or react or do something kind of more in a maybe irrational or reactive type way needs to kind of sit from the other person's perspective here and really observe and see, like, is this message coming out as something confrontational and coming very intense from a wounded place? Okay, because we might be very wounded here, and we might be wanting to, have the other person or the situation kind of understand where we're at. But is this going to help you to gain and get to where it is that you want? Or is this going to just allow you to vent something, and then it's an intense energy here that kind of doesn't allow there to be healthy sort of growth and coming together with something that ends up being mutual? Because I feel there is intensity here, either which way you slice it. And when we're really feeling intense feelings, that it's scary to step up, it's scary to say something, because what might happen? We start to trip ourselves up and really hold back. And then we start to get really just, like unhappy, more depressed here, and more just dissatisfied and hurt. And when we're reactionary because of something that's happened and it's still kind of fresh and we haven't had time to really sit with it. Sometimes we say things we don't mean, or we do things here that we end up, you know, having to take back. So, I mean, karma is karma. If there's something you have to do and lessons you have to learn, then take it as it's something that you're having to do and having to learn, that there is no right or wrong thing to do. But if you're watching this and you're just about to hit send with something, or you're just about to call someone to communicate, or you're thinking, okay, like, you know, you have a plan here, and Spirit is saying, sit with that plan longer until you're of more of a state of mind that is coming from the other person's point of view, where you've taken a break here from this to be able to just not be emotionally charged, which might be hard to do. It might be very hard to do. Okay, so let's pull the tarot, because I think this is all that's coming through. Spirits, can we please get just a further layer here in this message for the collective regarding this communication that is needing to happen either which way for the collective? What is this message all about for pile, or I guess for the collective here, in regards to them taking action? This collective immediate message for the viewer. What is this about? Clear and concise message here. Thank you so much, Spirit. Yeah, like if you need to sleep on this, you know, for a bit, then sleep on this for a bit. And if you've been sleeping on this, contemplating it, the giants are getting bigger. Like your worries are getting bigger the longer you kind of stay with it. So you start to build something up, okay? So you need to know which kind of side of the fence you sit on. And if you've been sitting with something for quite some time here and it's getting unbearable, then there's a need for us to communicate something here rather than building up things bigger than they are, so that we don't turn into someone who's going to say something, you know, more heavily charged here with emotion than trying to gain some sort of outcome, some peace in some loving way, because I do feel there's a lot of love, compassion coming here. Three of Cups, reconciliation, peace, coming together here, okay? It says friendship, family, abundance. The Three of Cups is, you know, it's our group of friends. It's our network of people. It's people we enjoy being around. This is the opposite of conflict. So I think you want peace. And I think maybe you want some sort of coming together here. Okay, you want to come together. Maybe you want some sort of reconciliation, or maybe you want to keep things still together in some way, but you also want to communicate something here that might be challenging to communicate. King of Swords. This is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy, the king of intellect. So it says here ambition, power, and influence. So the King of Swords is fairly logical, and I think this speaks to not being driven by something, you know, very passionately or emotionally charged, or saying something we don't mean. King of Swords is very calm, cool, and collected. It does take time to breathe and pause and really think about his answers. Is it coming from a logical place? And with influence, I feel like you want to influence a situation to go a certain way. Okay, so King of Swords is very much a leader. And in order to influence other people, their decisions, you know, if we want to have an impact, we need to come from a place of mutual understanding. As we know, we don't want to be sort of in a blaming type energy. And here we have the Fool. This is a new beginning, taking a risk, innocence, desire, purity, and potential. So with the Fool energy, I do feel like there's a situation here that is still salvageable in some way, okay? Because this is having a new beginning and wanting to take a step kind of in a direction here that we're not quite sure where we're stepping into. So that's this, what I said, we could be like anticipating the worst case scenario here, but Spirit is saying to take that chance anyway, you know, to take a chance towards doing what feels right, what your intuition is saying. Take the lead here and trust that the universe is supporting this decision, as long as it's coming from a logical place where you've had time to think. Okay, because you don't know what this outcome is going to be, but it shouldn't prevent you from communicating some truth here, because if it's coming from a place of love, you know, with this 528 hertz, and then we saw this communication from a place of love, a friendship, then it can't go wrong. Okay, it can only bring peace. It can only bring a coming together. It can only bring balance. We have Page of Wands. This is communication. Okay, good news, communication. Yeah, good news, communication, it says twice. So this is all about communicating. And we might have been silencing ourselves, or we might be reactionary here and wanting to communicate something, but we haven't had enough time to digest. Time to digest. Hermits. Virgo. Healing, solitude, inner work. So taking the time to breathe, to reflect, to sit on that piece of information, to say, if I were on the other side of this, the recipient here, how would I take it? Is it something that we're going to find cohesion and balance? And am I being true to myself? You know, or am I being reactionary and speaking from a wounded place here that's going to cause pain to another person because I need to be understood in some way? So it might make me feel better, but it doesn't guarantee, one, that the other person is going to even listen, because when we're heavily charged, someone might shut down on the other end, because a lot of people might not know how to respond or receive, you know, when the other side is coming through like a solar flare. You get burnt on the other end, but when you come through with compassion and love, it is more receptive. So you might be wanting to come together here with someone, or make peace here with someone. And you might have sort of what you want to say in your mind, but maybe there's still something in there that you're trying to make known about, some pain that's sat here, that's still kind of maybe not going to be received well in some way. So just review what it is that your action step is. And I do feel it is communication here. Okay, but I feel like this communication is required. So yes, certainly there's a need for this communication in order for there to be a new beginning and exploring a new sort of avenue here in this situation. The Chariot, forward movement, success, progress, journey. Yes. So this card talks about how the universe wants us to move forward, you know, in life, be successful. And in order to do so, we have to maintain balance. Okay, we have to take the good and the bad in order to stay upright in a balanced way and find our way through whatever challenge that we have to get through upright. Because if we go too fast, we might get the chariot off balance, right? And so when we integrate parts of the pain with the light, so the dark with the light, we kind of are able to still move forward and be able to manage. But if we drive from a place of darkness and pain, we have too much of something, we're off balance. And then the chariot can't stay upright. And so we don't successfully accomplish something we're wanting to accomplish. I feel like there's something you're wanting to accomplish, an outcome you want. Okay, so this is an inner work card. This is like being able to integrate the inner work. There's obviously stuff in here that we're needing to address and acknowledge that has hurt us. And once we can integrate and acknowledge, then we move forward with the news and communication that we're needing in order to change a situation. 5 of Cups. Yes, so we've experienced sorrow, loss. It says leaving. So if we're having to communicate something here that is painful, and we're having to communicate where we've experienced pain, it's a challenging conversation. But what Spirit really wants to show is, as long as we're communicating from a place of love and being the recipient on the other side, imagining how would we feel about every single word or action step you're taking, would that result in the sort of solution that you're wanting? Would that result in success for you? Or would it result in more conflict, or would it result in you kind of holding back in getting what it is that you want? Because if we're focused on the pain, it comes through as something that becomes the focus of the conversation, or the driver of what's driving us, or the energy sits with that pain. But when we focus on the fact that we've experienced pain and we can kind of put it aside with acknowledging it, but as an independent thing from what we want, because I feel we want something here. We cannot bring this pain in an unhealed way and expects to be successful. Unless it's healed and fully integrated, we get the chariot all off balance, okay? So I feel like you want to get a goal somehow here. So are we ready? Or are we still feeling a lot of pain here and we're going to come off like this solar flare? Only you know, okay? And so I feel like there's a need. I keep repeating the same thing here, but there really is a need here to come off with compassion and love from a place of love, you know, towards the situation, and also with yourself. Because I feel like if you're the type of person here that hasn't shown yourself the support that you were needing in a situation, because you haven't been standing up for something that you truly feel at your own expense, I feel like something's heavily charged here. And so when you do finally speak up, it's probably like a blow up in some way, okay? So we want to prevent a blow up if we can. And also, I feel like this is an opportunity here for this to expand. With the Fool, expand this leadership. This is opening the door to something new to you in this situation, or just new from experiencing hurt, new from speaking from pained places, okay? It's getting you towards success here. So I'm going to pull one final message here with the tarot. What does Spirit want to communicate for the collective then? What is this final message to the collective? What are they needing to hear? Anything that they're still unclear about that we can answer for this collective message, Spirit? Thank you so much. Yeah, I think you're on the verge of communicating something here, okay? So Spirit's got your back. Just be very consciously aware of kind of where you're at in that healing process. So Spirit, what more does this collective need to know in regards to this message? I always want to say the pile. Okay, the Mother Star with yes. So if you had a question here, because I asked, like, is there anything you kind of needed to know? The answer here is yes, okay? And I feel this is positive. So, I mean, maybe you didn't ask a yes-no question, but wanting to know, you know, is the outcome going to be something that is worst case scenario in some way? And Spirit is saying, take action because it's positive. Whatever can come of this is positive, okay? And the Mother Star, that's creating. So it's creating a desire here with the Mother Star. So yes, take action. Yes, allow yourself to create this new sort of energy. Four of Pentacles, because I feel as though we could have been, for those of you guys who were not communicating, we were hanging on to an idea of something that seemed like if we were to communicate, or if we were to acknowledge something, we might lose out, okay? And we'd rather have a little bit than nothing at all. But it's a lack mindset, thinking that we can just let go and allow the universe to fill us with abundance. So we fight for everything we have to hang on to, and it's a challenge, but it still doesn't make us happy, okay? So we've been in a very stuck position here. And also for, I guess, whoever here needed to hear, to kind of sit on this communication, I feel like by sitting on this communication, we now come from a more balanced, stable place here. From a place where we're identifying, is this something that's going to bring us more balance? Or is this something that we're kind of driving from a lack mindset that is kind of out of fear, okay? Are we communicating out of fear in some way because we've been hurt? We've experienced some pain. Two of Cups. This is coming together, okay? Love, it says here. Two of Cups, harmony, partnership, peace. I think you want peace. Okay, whether you want to come together or whether you want to find peace with someone. The Spirit is saying there needs to be the communication. There needs to be the balance. A balance card, a balance card. And even she has this cup here and the sword on the other hand. And so it's giving me very much the justice. Okay, finding balance by speaking a truth, being integral and honest, and also being very balanced in the way we communicate, not from an emotional place, but a loving place. So I'm sure you probably already know to be coming from a loving place, but sometimes when we're emotionally charged here, we think it's coming from love, and the message is this love or is it coming from pain because we love so much? Are the words we're using something that is accusatory in some way, or lashing out in some way, or very charged in a way that is not what we actually want? Because what we actually want is coming from a place that is true and is real unconditional love here. It is coming from a place of balance rather than causing more conflict. Okay, so yeah, I think you're preparing yourself to have this communication. So Spirit's got your back. You have to decide to have that communication. And I think you're sitting at that crossroads right now. You know, you're sitting at that crossroads right now. So just keep that in mind. However it's coming out, whether it's via, you know, communication over words like text or email or letter or whatever, or if it's actual verbal communication here. This is physical touch here, so I don't know, like maybe there's something here to do with physical touch. Let me pull a card to see what I'm seeing here with this connect. Spirit, what is this connect card about? Can we get clarity on the connect here with this touch? I get, like, when you do palmistry, the pointer is the boss finger, okay? It's like the boss finger. It's like being empowered. It's like this leadership. And apparently, if that finger is tall, you're good with managing people, okay? You're good with giving orders. But anyway, something to do with being empowered to follow through with something here, taking charge of something here. So a lot of you guys might be in the other half that's, you know, are trying to avoid conflict or trying to not speak some sort of truth. There's a need for you to be empowered to communicate a truth here. Be the boss in your own story. Yeah, communication. Okay, Page of Swords is communication, and the Page of Swords is all about us sort of asking ourselves all the questions we kind of need to know, getting our ducks in a row before we act on something, because we're learning here, okay? It says ambition, charm, intelligence, and curiosity. So we sit on whatever information, and that's what I was getting from this when I said make sure that you review it. You know, make sure you breathe, take a break, sit on the information. So Spirit is saying really question what it is that you're doing. Question what action you're taking. Question what you're saying. Question whatever you're typing. Question whatever is your motivator here, okay? And if whatever you're doing and saying is coming from supporting your intuition and what you want it to say, and it's coming from love, and it's not at your own expense, then send it and do it, okay? Because it's coming from love and it's truth and authenticity. But if it's coming from a place that's not in line with, you know, what your authenticity is, because we might put up with things that's caused us pain. And then we keep kind of shooting ourselves in the foot here where we could have been honest. So we don't get to expand in situations. We stay small. So Page of Swords doesn't fear asking questions, but the Page of Swords gets his information before acting. Okay, so that's what we have. And then we saw the King of Swords, which is, you know, a graduated version of this page, because then he has everything knowledge-wise, the intelligence he needs to act in a very intellectual way, not out of emotions, but calm, in order for the Chariot to stay upright. It's logical, but it's also understanding and experience here. You know, it's not ignoring it, it's addressing it and integrating that piece of it so that we can communicate open and clearly. So we saw 2 communication cards and a whole bunch of other communication in the tarot and communication cards in the oracle. So I think that's the message. Not quite sure what I'm going to call this reading, but if you clicked on it, like I said, then most likely there was communication there coming up for you. And this 8 of Swords is popping up in the reverse. So it frees you. And the Creator, yes, creating something here that I think you haven't been able to create yet, okay? So freeing you from some mental prison, from some frustration, anxiety, feeling trapped, you know, feeling like we're kind of in our own mental prison, okay? So this is what I have for you guys, collective. I hope this resonated, and I'll see you soon. Bye.